another one of our webinars, Tap and Go Contactless Cards at Mohawk College. I'm Fred Emery, Vice President of Sales at Heartland Campus Solutions. This webinar is being recorded, and we will make it available for you for future viewing if you so desire. Additionally, this webinar is in listen-only mode. If you have any questions, we would love to answer them and have you submit questions to us. We will allow some time at the end to answer all your questions. However, being that the webinar is in listen-only mode, if you look at your GoToWebinar control panel, there's an area there that says questions. Please click onto that area and type in your questions, and we'll be able to answer them at the end of the formal presentation when we leave time. I'm very happy today to be joined by Charlie Sasso from Ingersoll Rand and the team from Mohawk College. So I'd like you all to introduce yourselves. Charlie, if you could introduce yourselves, tell everybody your full name, position, and just a few tidbits about you.
Sure, yeah. My name is Charlie Sasso. I'm the National Account Manager for Ingersoll Rand, and I manage the Heartland account for Ingersoll Rand. I've been with the organization for just over 10 years in the industry, and I'm based out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Great, thanks, Charlie. And Team Mohawk, Diana, let's start from you.
Hi, it's Diana Creamer from Mohawk College. I'm the One Card Manager, and I'm here today with Rob
Morley, and I'm the One Card Administrator.
Great. Well, thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate you affording us this time for this webinar to chat about contactless cards. Today we're going to go into, so let me change the slide here. The evolution of the contactless card credential, the different types of contactless cards, do sort of a case study and review of Mohawk College, what they are doing with contactless technology, why they chose to use contactless technology, and some of the things that they have planned for the future. And we'll also cover, why contactless technology, what are the benefits of it, opposed to magnetic stripe cards and what have you. Just a little bit of background, as I mentioned, with Heartland Campus Solutions. Heartland Campus Solutions is a division of Heartland Payment Systems. We're the 5th largest payment processor in North America. What I mean by that is, as a payment processor, we process card transactions. We're heavily involved in credit and debit card transactions, both with magnetic stripe, contactless technology at standard retail locations, your pizza shop, your coffee shop, your sandwich shop, cafes, restaurants, as well as various NFC pilots. We have over 3,000 employees and more than 250,000 merchants, 1,600 of which are colleges or universities, using a wide array of product sets, some being one card, others being tuition management, and what have you. We processed in 2012 3.3 billion transactions, which equals about $122 billion in volume. So that's more than 11 million payments every day. So I bring this up to you because Heartland's background is in card technology and all the different flavors and varieties of card technology, so we could bring that to our campus clients. We are a partner with IR for contactless technology and near-field communication. We're part of the AppTeak Alliances and have an excellent relationship with Ingersoll Rand. And I'm very happy that Charlie could join us and talk a little bit more, because he knows way more about contactless card technology than I do, but he could talk a little bit more about the evolution of the contactless card and really where it's going and where it's been and what have you. Just quickly, you might be wondering, why should we choose a contactless card over a magnetic stripe card, or why should we migrate over to contactless cards and do away with our mag stripe, or put more of our transactions and functions based on the contactless technology within a card. One, of course, is security. Magnetic stripe cards are not as secure as contactless cards. There's a whole slew more of encryption and security involved in contactless than magnetic stripe cards. Convenience. It's a lot easier, much easier for a cardholder or student to simply tap their card and process the transaction, leave it in your wallet, leave it dangling around your lanyard and tap it, than to swipe a magnetic stripe card. We've also seen less wear and tear, both from the cards and the readers at campuses that are using contactless as opposed to mag stripe. When you're constantly swiping a card through a reader, you tend to wear down the mag stripe, or you're more likely to break the card. Additionally, the readers on a mag stripe card get dirty from dirt and particles that are on the magnetic stripe, and they have movable read heads. So as you swipe the card, your card reader has more wear and tear, so you need to maintain it and replace it a lot more often than you would a contactless reader. And the final point, in my opinion, is it's a foundation for new technology. It's setting the stage for technology that's yet to come, or that's being developed or soon to be released, because it's using newer protocols for processing those card transactions. So in a nutshell, that's the reasons in my mind why a campus would want to investigate or migrate to contactless cards from magnetic stripe technology. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Charlie to talk a little bit about contactless technology and a little bit about Ingersoll Rand and their role in contactless technology. Charlie, I'm passing over the controls to you.
Okay.
So you should be able to change the slide yourself now.
Very good. Thanks, Fred. So
You're welcome,
again,
Charlie.
thank you. Just a little bit on the organization, in case you're not familiar. Ingersoll Rand. You can see some of the numbers and so forth there. The one thing I'll just point out is we did have our 100-year anniversary back in 2005. So the company's been around for quite some time, and you can see some of the brands there that we have as part of the portfolio. Let's see. Here we go. A little more. Oh, looks like I jumped one. Let me go back. Looks like there was just a little delay. There we go. So a little more detail on the specific portfolio of security technologies is you can see some of the on the electronic security side, which is what we'll primarily be talking about today, with locks, readers, and credentials. Also part of the portfolio is the mechanical security. Just to mention that, some of the other things that we focus on are the locks, the closers, the exits on the mechanical side. And the reason I point that out is because, with a electronic access control system, there's a lot of sophistication and benefits of that, but fundamentally, the mechanical aspect is very important. If the door doesn't close and latch, a lot of the benefits of your electronic security will not be seen because of problems on the mechanical side. So that is a big focus of ours. And then, as you can see, the market solutions specific to specific markets such as higher ed that we work with Heartland with, and their focus on the higher ed market. So working with them in creating specific campus solutions for the higher ed market. Moving on to the evolution of credentials. So you can see a little timeline here from keys to, as Fred mentioned, magnetic stripe, proximity, contactless, into NFC, which we'll be talking a little bit about, and that's near field communication. But one thing I'll mention, I mentioned earlier, I've been around with the organization for 10 years. When I first started 10 years ago, there was a fair amount of discussion about smart card technology, but it really, never really took off early on. We're now definitely seeing a trend in the industry because of the benefits, as Fred mentioned, with security and so forth, that now this technology is really taking off. So we don't ever see, you see there at the bottom the keys. With electronic security, we always recommend having a key override as a backup, as emergency backup. So not completely going away, but but a lot of benefits from security and convenience, as Fred mentioned, with the contactless technology. Just a simple overview of, one of the things, there's a lot of the universities are still using magstripe. Proximity is a technology that's been around quite some time, but the difference, sometimes there's confusion from proximity because contactless is used in the same form. It's just presenting the card. But one of the basic differences you see here is from Prox to Smart. And again, you see Abtique, just to clarify, Abtique is a brand for Ingersoll Rand for smart card contactless technology. So when you see Abtique, it be a credential or a reader, it is our brand for smart card technology. But what you see here is the difference in addition to with additional security, or providing security, as well as additional memory from Prox technology. So an example there would be adding additional applications with smart cards, such as logical access would be one example, or maybe biometrics, where you'd have a biometric template that you'd want to put on the card. These are things you could not do with proximity. And of course, like I said, security is probably one of the biggest reasons that that campuses are moving to a smart card. From the reader side, here's just another example. Again, Prox from the security side would just, you present the card and it just passes the data straight through. With smart card, this is where you're getting your additional security. So you see this secure authentication, actually we call it mutual authentication, which the card and reader communicate back and forth, and each one verifies that the other one is legitimate. So that's how there's a handshake that's going on between the card and the reader to make sure that it is a valid card and it does belong in the system. So this just kind of gives you an overview of what Ingersoll Rand provides within this space. So it's not just we provide locks for access control throughout the ecosystem for your dining, vending, point of sale, etc. And again, different readers like you see there for conversions, so that you have a reader that will read both proximity. There are campuses using Prox as well in certain areas of campus. So this reader would allow you to utilize Prox, Smart Card, and magstripe for conversion purposes, as well as keypad or no keypad.
Charlie, if I can
yes,
jump in here from
sure.
One thing I just wanted to add is, no, that's fine. One thing I just want to add is, I think a lot of campuses and different areas started with the access control, as you had mentioned, and that was the primary reason of using contactless or moving to contactless was for the security devices and what IR has offered throughout the years so well. But once the students had that card in hand, that secure credential, everyone wanted to use it for the financial function. So it's great that there are readers available that can now be utilized or can be added on to existing, let's say, vending readers or financial readers, meal plan devices, or point-of-sale terminals to utilize the card for financial transactions. So the contactless, the beauty of the contactless and the benefits of it can be utilized in financial as well as the security. It started with the security, but it really has expanded out for pretty much every type of function that one would want to utilize the card for.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because initially, again, we were very much focused on the security side, and then developed, like I say, that reader to build it out for the ecosystem. So hence the whole technology, right, of one card, so the students could use their one card for other areas on campus. Yeah, just beyond what we started with, like you said, on the security side, for sure. Yeah, good point. So I mentioned Aptique Mobile, and that's kind of the next generation. So we've now got, you know, in a nutshell, you take that smart card technology that I was just talking about, and you take that to NFC, near field communication, allowing you to do virtually the same thing with your phone, and actually even more benefits when it's through your phone. Actually, some additional layers of security and ability in order to provision the card instead of, you know, physically having to get the card, being able to do things like this through the cloud. So we're excited about this. It is new, and Heartland is one of our charter partners with launching this technology, and so we're excited about it. And actually, I think maybe the best way to describe it is, Fred, I guess we can go to the next slide. Do you have control back, and we could launch that video that shows a little bit about NFC.
Sure.
Do you need me to advance the slide?
And,
okay.
I am going to launch the video right now. You should
all
see a video.
There are hundreds of moving pieces university administrators have to worry about, from dorm room assignments to class registration. It can get a little hectic, but with Aptique Mobile, they can take ordering ID cards weeks in advance off their list. Aptique Mobile is a quick, simple solution that delivers a virtual credential to an NFC-enabled smartphone, so students get the access control they need when accessing doors. Or, when used in conjunction with a campus ID card system, Aptique Mobile can be used as forms of payment for meal plans, vending, and even laundry. Universities can easily integrate the Aptique Mobile cloud-based service into their current access control system, or use the web-based Aptique Mobile admin portal to issue credentials. Now when students need credentials, universities no longer have to wait for students to come into the card office to pick up their IDs. The admin office simply sends the student's information to the Aptique Cloud service, such as their contact info, badge ID, and facility code, to create the virtual credential. It then sends the student an email with a secure PIN and instructions to download the app and virtual credential. Once the app is downloaded, the user verifies their identity with the PIN number. Then Aptique Mobile sends the encrypted credential to the student's smartphone, and it's ready to use. With an Android phone, just tap and hold the back of the phone to the reader, and the app will open automatically. Touch the screen to beam your ID, and voila! If you're using an iPhone, open the Aptique Mobile app as you're walking toward the reader. Then, simply tap the back of the phone to the reader. It's that easy. Secure, convenient, powerful, and ready. This is Aptique Mobile. Are you ready? Contact your sales rep, or for more information, visit aptiquemobile.com.
So it was a little chunky, I think, because of probably being online and through the webinar. But if you're interested to see that maybe a little clearer, you could just go to aptiquemobile.com, and there's some more videos that you can view there.
Great. So Charlie, really, it's the contactless cards are sort of setting the stage, the foundation for future technology with NFC, because isn't NFC sort of using the same type of protocol as the contactless cards, the MyFair protocol for doing the transactions? Correct.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of any of the campuses that once they make that decision to move to a contactless smart card using your technology, using Aptique, which you provide, they now have the foundation. So you're NFC ready, your readers, quite frankly, whether it's the wall mount readers or those AD locks, we didn't talk much about the locks, but the locks as well. You now have that foundation, you're NFC ready. So it's not something you have to do right away. Schools can maybe test it in a certain area, but you to your point, yes, it's the same technology, and you have that foundation preparing you for the future, NFC. Yep.
Great.
Excellent.
Well, thank you, Charlie. At this time, we're going to switch it over to Mohawk. Diana and Rob, I'm going to give you control. I just want to say one thing. I've been to Mohawk a couple of times, and on one of my more recent trips, I saw a lot of the fruition of their implement work on that campus with contactless technology. You know, wherever I looked where someone could use the card, they would tap it. You know, there was not a whole lot of mag swipes. They would tap in that card, and I was really quite impressed on the job that they did at Mohawk with the contactless cards and how you can, being that it's the technology that they chose is such a standard, they can, you know, use different type of readers and in different type of areas to accept the card back to the one card system. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Team Mohawk. You guys should have control. Feel free to advance the slides when you're ready.
Thanks, Fred. Hi, it's Diana. Just to give you a little bit of history about Mohawk, in case you don't know, we're located in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We have about 15,000 full-time students and about 40,000 to 60,000 in a year of continuing education students, whether they're here in the daytime or at night. We were asked to implement Heartland and have a one-card solution for our campus. Our campus has one small residence, which is about 340 students, and those 340 students use our card for their meal plan. So there's not a lot of colleges in Ontario that actually have a one-card program, and our neighbors around us that are universities, we have more functions on our cards than they do, to give you an idea of how quickly it's grown. Thanks to the help from Heartland. And we'll start. So in the beginning, in the past, we required photo ID for exams, which we still do. We had some rooms that you were able to use a prox card to get into. We used the card with stickers for the campus shuttle and also our bus pass. And we used the cards for printing. We also had other cards they could buy for printing as well, so they could either use their student card or just a blank sort of white card with some money on it. And at that point, that was all the functions we really had on our card. We've now grown. We have the MyFair Classic technology in our cards. We use the Fargo 5000 printers for printing all our cards. We installed automatic deposit machines. We actually have 2 that are still running on site. We started out with 4, but due to some downsizing, we've gone to just the 2. We use DCT3 readers in our Mohawk Student Association area and our bookstore. We use barcode in our library media, and now in IT we actually use a tap rather than a barcode. We also use swipe readers on our ADMs. We have some virtual servers set up, 4 development servers, 5 application servers, including our web. We just rewrote our web due to some PCI compliancy issues. We have now installed PaperCut for our print server. We have a whole bunch of new Sharp devices that were brought in study week of last winter, which was around February. So we're working with Sharp in conjunction with our infrastructure as well as PaperCut and some of our other outside vendors. So in August 2012, it was the launch of our One Card. Our resident students moved in the end of August, so they were the first to have the One Card. What we did in August and leading up to August is we did integration with Banner. Ellucian is our ERP solution, so we have integration to Banner. We have integration with FAST, which is a student reporting module, so that our faculty can see who's in their classes. What about the meal plan? In September, we did all new and returning students, so we had a total of about 12,000 students go through at that point, which was interesting. We had the meal plan, actually, when we went live with the system, was on our Volante registers, so it was a swipe. We did not have a gateway at that point, so they used the swipe on the Chartwell system. Again, we're using stickers for shuttle between our campuses, Hamilton Transit, and also GO stickers, which is our provincial sort of transportation system for buses and trains. We ceased using ITC for printing. In September, it was alive and still is. We set up all the printers in the release stations. We actually were using Heartland to start with and then switched to PaperCut and Sharp. We had the ADMs so that people like our continuing ed students that are night school students can put money on their cards. We created a loyalty program for basically students in our area that are part of the community and have some access issues to furthering post-secondary education. That's grown leaps and bounds lately, so we're printing lots of loyalty cards. So if they come to a campus function, they get so many points, and that's towards a reduction in their tuition. We were using printing and photocopying. We were using swipe terminals in 2012, and the bookstore was also using DCT3s with the tap readers. At that point, we had our old gymnasium, so we were just using our cards with a sticker on them, and they were scanning the cards. We also have a barcode on the front of our cards. We were also using that for equipment rental, which was through our student association as well as some of the areas of the college. The library uses the barcode as well still in their areas. Then we started in November to issue cards to faculty and staff. And that was a bit of a challenge. Reason being is the staff was used to their old cards, and switching over to the new cards.
Diana, are you there?
Yeah, I don't hear.
I think we might have lost Diana and Rob. Diana, we lost you on the voice. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. Let's give Diana another moment to pick back up.
Yeah, she might have just, yeah, on her. Yeah, her looks like her line just went up. Did you just advance the slide, or did she?
I think she may have.
Because the slide just advanced, so maybe she might not be aware. She's not, her audio is not.
Well, I'll narrate.
Yeah, yeah, as she's going through.
I'll narrate.
So tell.
Well, they did go to Tap and Go for all the security on campus, and with PaperCut, they had integration with the new Sharp equipment. It's pretty cool. There, underneath the copier is the card reader, and underneath the top of the copier, and when you just tap your card, it pulls up your print jobs, and you're able to print them out. It's a nice, clean integration with the contactless readers. You don't even see the reader. There's just a sticker on top of the copier that looks like their card, and you simply tap it. Additionally, in the audiovisual, they added contactless card readers to pull up accounts for the bookstore for sales. It's all on contactless technologies. And they're also using one of our applications, M-Authenticate, in the bookstore now to accept the card. In the point-of-sale terminals, the contactless technology is utilized, as well as in the vending machines. One thing that they've done is they've taken the reader off the front of the vending machine, and it's inside. So the reader is actually behind the plastic. So all you see is a sticker again on the plastic, and you tap it for processing the transaction. So there's no external reader that you see for accepting the card. Recent additions to some off-campus locations and their athletic recreation center for access and transactions there.
And pizza.
And pizza, yes. And that's one of the Aptique readers that are in use there, connected to their access control solution to accept the card. Well, they want to thank us. These are all of their partners that help to create their program. They use Mango Bay for photo upload, PaperCut, Sharp, Heartland, Identicam, IR terminals within their campus provided by Heartland for them to utilize.
Yeah, she's not aware. She's not on audio. I don't know if you're able to send her a text or something in case there's questions for her, Fred.
Sure, I will do that. We are going to go to a video in just a moment.
This is Mark and Craig. They're students of Mohawk College. Mark here lost his one card. Craig, on the other hand, is getting his new one card. What is a one card, you may ask? It's your complete access to the Mohawk community. Wait till you see what the one card can do for you. First, load money onto your one card by credit online, debit, cash at the bookstore, or the ATM. Now try booking equipment for a project. It's easy with your one card. Sorry, Mark. No one card, no service. Poor Mark. Buying coffee the old way. That's right, Craig. With the one card, just tap and you're done. Getting books from the library is as easy as scanning your one card. Sorry, Mark. No one card, no service. Printing is made easy with your one card. You can even print wirelessly from your laptop. Just tap and you're ready to go. But don't forget to log out of the printer. You don't want other students, like Mark, printing off your card. Oh, Mark, when will you ever learn? It doesn't stop there. You can buy things with the general dollars on your one card at the campus store or the bookstore. You can grab some lunch. And bus ride? Just flash the card. Mark has had enough. So you lost your one card. It's only a replacement fee, and you get a brand new one. Plus, parents can even make a deposit online by credit. Mark is set. And he can't wait to start using his one card at various locations around campus. But wait, coming soon. Access to the new athletic center. And new vending machine.
And those two items already launched, the athletic center and the vending machine. I love this video especially because it was made and produced by students. So I think that's just awesome. But you could see there how they are utilizing the contactless card in pretty much every area of the campus that you possibly could want to. And if you'd like to review that video again, just go to YouTube and search on Mohawk one card, and you'll find it. It's right there, the top one. So it's a great representation of what they're doing on campus with the contactless technology. You saw there on the copiers that they just tapped the card where that sticker was to show them where to tap, but the reader was underneath and inside the machine. So you didn't have to worry about someone, maybe trying to vandalize it or pull it off or what have you. It was hidden underneath the cover there, so it was nice and neat. I'm not sure they realized that their voice is still not on. Yeah, they've jumped off of the phone. So let's. The next section that we will be doing is questions. So please feel free to type in any questions that you may have, and we'd be happy to answer them. We don't have any questions as of yet coming in. So they're,
Did you say, Fred, they're aware their audio's not working? Were they going to try to dial back in?
Yes, Jeff Zander had sent them. Thank you, Jeff, by the way. Was messaging them to ask them to dial back in.
Dial back in. Okay.
Audio.
Hi, Fred. We're back.
There they go.
Okay, thank you.
Don't ask me how we lost you.
It's okay. It's okay. I narrated as you changed slides. I pretended I was you. So, it was only a couple of slides that we lost you there at the end. So perhaps you could tell us some of the reasoning why you chose to go with contactless cards and your experience with it, and then we'll get into the questions. Your experience with contactless cards, pros, cons, anything that you wanted to share in that regard.
Well, it's a funny story because I didn't choose to go with contactless cards. Actually, all the cards were purchased when I took over the position, and once we saw the capabilities that they had, we thought we would try and make it as easy for our students. Our biggest issue at Mohawk was lineups. We have lineups everywhere, and the tapping has really helped alleviate the lineups. So that's probably the biggest reason we went. Yeah, it's super fast. You just tap and go.
Great.
So Diane, this is Charlie. I have a question. Just so it was in place when you took over. Do you know what the driving factor was that the campus decided to make that move? I know you just mentioned the lineups, but was that the primary reason, or was there some other reasoning behind that? Are you aware of why that took place?
I think it was they evaluated going My Fair Death Fire versus just the dumb card at the time, and they sort of went middle range because at that time we were hoping that it would work with our Presto bus initiative and train initiative, and that's sort of where I think the decision came from, which cards to buy.
Okay.
That's how I remember it too, Diana. And I think a lot of the other factors was, when the campus was in the decision-making process of which card format to go to, they wanted that newer cutting-edge technology and the security that's part of it. But I do remember them talking a good deal about the lineups and the tapping. The student could tap it themselves, and it's a whole lot quicker. So that was one of the driving factors too. Was I think the service and convenience to the students. And I'm sure the cashiers appreciate not having to take a card from the student and swipe it. That repetitive motion of rolling your wrist to swipe a MagStripe card and up and down with your arm, it gets to a cashier having to do that over and over again. It's not like on a college campus you're doing, a couple of cards a day. You could be doing thousands of transactions a day as a cashier. So it does help out the cashier not have as much repetitive motion and goes through quite quickly.
And moving to the third-party gateway made a really big difference because last year the resident students were a swipe, and the rest of the college community was on the DCT3s with a tap, but they were still having to punch in the actual amount that the student was paying for. So with the new third-party gateway, it's made a ton of difference. We don't have hardly as many refunds either. I might have done 2 this fall, and that's it. And last year I was doing them all the time.
And that's the gateway that you're talking about is the Heartland gateway that allows your point of sale from indicting to communicate to one card, correct?
Yes, it's from Chartwell's Volante into Heartland directly.
Great. Well, we're glad that we could help you in that regard. We do have a couple of questions that have popped up in the question area. One is, can financial aid disbursement be applied to the card? And that's sort of I'll take that as a general question, and I'll answer it, and then you guys can jump in. The card itself, generally when financial aid is going to a card to be utilized, and Canada doesn't handle financial aid in as much of a complicated method, I think, as we do here in the U.S. It seems to be a lot more streamlined how you deal with financial aid, and there's not as much financial aid money being refunded to students and what have you as there are in the U.S. But the card itself that's contactless, can be utilized to access financial aid money. What some campuses do or would like to do, I mean, when you're doing financial aid, you want more of a branded card, maybe a Discover card. And Discover has a contactless technology that they utilize. I think it's Discover Zip that can be put into a card that's issued to the students, so they can have contactless technology for that as well. Many campuses that would disperse financial aid to their one card. A student can elect to put a deposit into the one card account and have that accessed by their one card and the contactless technology as well.
Yeah, in Canada, you're right, Fred. What happens with financial aid is they apply and they work with their own bank on it. And what happens is when they're approved, it goes directly to their bank account. So there is no sort of putting it on a card thing that happens in Canada. The other thing I wanted to mention, too, the other thing with the TAP was, and I've noticed the last 2 times I've been to the United States, is Canada is ahead. A lot of our readers in most of our retail stores, restaurants, everywhere, you just tap and go even with your Visa and MasterCard. So we sort of followed what the industry was moving towards, and that's another reason we went TAP.
I totally agree with you on that. Coming from the payment processing, side, from the payment processing side as well, as Heartland, we see, a lot of merchants still staying on magnetic stripe technology. I mean, you are more advanced in, I think, the technology at the readers at merchant locations away from the mag stripe. You were doing chip and pin for years now up in Canada, and that's only starting to filter into the U.S. with EMV cards with the chip and pin, and having the contactless technology in the readers. When you utilize that chip and pin reader, it can come all with contactless built in. So, yeah, I think you are advanced in that regard, and that does then make it a lot easier for your students. You're used to it using contactless tap technology, and the students want it then because that's just the norm for them.
The other thing we found too, we do have the PIN technology and the chips, but what has happened lately is they've gone away from that and they're moving towards the tap without the PIN. So if you're making small dollar purchases, then you're not adding that PIN in where people are adding it when they're standing in front of a cashier, which also speeds up the line, and that's another reason that I think a lot of the retail and restaurant business here have changed their PIN pads.
Excellent. That's good info. Thank you. We do have another question that came in. What custom development is needed to integrate other vendors with one card? From a Heartland standpoint, basically if there's a vendor that wanted to communicate into the one card system, we just ask them to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and then we provide them with a system development kit. There's an API that's available for them that they can utilize to communicate and send transactions code from their system to send transactions to the one card system, our transaction gateway or web service. We make that API also available to campuses if they wanted to utilize it. And I think that's what you all used at Mohawk for your web transactions with credit card, because for the PCI with Caledon, who you're using for processing credit cards up there, you utilize our web service API to send the deposits into the one-card system, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's just a simple API that's afforded to the third-party vendor or the campus to code to. We do have a certification process. Once you've coded, we provide a sandbox to the vendor or you as a campus to do test transactions, and we'll certify that the transactions are flowing properly, securely, and doing what they're supposed to be doing on the back end into the database, so that everything is all green-lit and ready to go, and then it's certified and ready to roll out and live for you.
For our food vendor, it took about 6 to 8 weeks for them to do what they needed to do on their side, and then we probably tested for about 2 weeks just to make sure everything was up and running properly. On the one-card web, it was probably about a month's worth of work just because of learning the APIs and a lot about the PCI and how we had to be compliant. And then we did testing probably for about a week.
Great. Excellent. Are there any other questions? If so, if you could type them in and submit them, that would be great. If you do have other questions that pop up afterwards, by all means, feel free to email me those questions. You should see my email on the screen, and I'd be happy to answer them. If there are questions that are specific to Charlie at IR or Diana and Rob over at Mohawk, I can forward them along and get you the proper answers and send you back responses. But please now, if you have any other questions, go to the GoToWebinar control panel under the questions area and just type them in, and we'd be happy to answer them. We'll give you another moment or two to add in those questions if you have. I think one of the coolest things, though, that I saw at your campus, Diana and Rob, was the vending. Because most campuses, I mean, it was sort of outside the box what you did, because most campuses, you'll see they get their card reader and they'll mount it on the outside of the vending machine. You know, people are used to seeing card readers and vending machines in airports and different areas. And traditionally, the card readers on college campuses for their one cards have been mounted on the outside of the machines. However, you placed it on the inside with the contactless reader, and you just have that card sticker that shows the student where to tap right on the machine, and there's no bulky reader there or whatnot. It's aesthetically pleasing, and the reader is on the inside and accepts your contactless Mohawk card.
Yeah, it's perfect. I know in talking to some of the other colleges and universities, they mentioned don't put them on the outside because the students like to rip them off. So that was one of the reasons we thought to put them inside. But it's neat and clean, and
yep.
They seem to be liking it so far. And we made sure that the sticker that we put on is branded with our normal brand, the same picture of every card we show everywhere, so it's easy to find where you actually tap.
Hey, Diane, this
Absolutely.
is Charlie. I have just one question while we're seeing if there's any more there. Just from a smartphone perspective, do you have just a ballpark idea of what types of phones are utilized on campus? And when I say what types, I'm primarily interested in, iPhone versus Droid percentage on campus. Do you have an idea on that?
Well, it's interesting in Canada because before there was sort of BlackBerry, iPhones, Androids. And I think what you'll find now is a lot of the people that had BlackBerries have gone iPhones or Androids. Probably more iPhones. So that's going to be an issue for us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I
forgot about BlackBerry as far as obviously being a Canadian-based company. That there was, but you've already seen a kind of a transition. Did you just last thing? I'm sorry. I think I heard. Did you say iPhone? Yeah,
it's the iPhone. What I found with my daughter's 17, and her friends, if they had BlackBerries to start out with or Androids, changed to the iPhone. I think they moved really with the 4s, and then 5 was really big.
Gotcha. So at this point, you would say the highest percentage on campus, would you say, is leans towards the iPhone at this point?
For students, yes.
For students, yeah. Okay.
For employees, it would be BlackBerries because all our, like our Mohawk phones are all BlackBerries, so just about.
Okay. Interesting. That's good information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We don't have any other questions that have come in, so do any of the panelists have any other items that you wanted to just bring up or bits of information you wanted to share before we bring the webinar to a close?
We're good at Mohawk.
Okay.
Yeah, good as well. Definitely can answer any questions. Like you said, Fred, if anything comes in, be more than happy to either answer questions or talk with someone on the phone or something like that. If they'd like to have a conversation, you could pass on, my contact information.
Or if they want, they could put it on the listserv as well.
Excellent. Thank you all to our panelists, Rob, Diana, and Charlie for joining us. And I'd like to thank everyone else for joining us this morning and attending this webinar. It's greatly appreciated. We look forward to hopefully seeing you on some future webinars that we have coming up. If there's anything that we can do for you over at Heartland, just give me a holler, give me an email or a call. My number and email's on the screen. I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope you have yourself a great day.
Thanks, Fred.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.